Hello and welcome to the Links Virtual Tour tutorial. These will be a series of tutorials that will go over the features and functions of the Links Virtual Tour. This one will be just an overview and the others will be more in detail about more specific features and functions. The Links Virtual Tour is meant to be an add-on to the Microsoft Links program. You can find the Links Virtual Tour at the Links Corner website, and when you download it, it should come in a zip file. And inside that zip file, you will find these two files. So open it up and store these wherever you want on your laptop. I put mine in a folder called LVT Demo. So let's click on Links Virtual Tour and open it up. When you open it up, you get your splash screen. On the right side, you see where you'll be able to work with the tours that you'll be able to create. On the left side are your database maintenance. This will come with a selection of courses that are found on the Links Corner. You can edit any of these pieces of information for a database. You can add your own courses, or you can delete your own courses as well. Also have tournament maintenance. Comes with a selection of tournaments that are on the PGA Tour and the Champions Tour and the European Tour. You can change whatever you want of these features here for a tournament, like the courses that it's played on, the number of rounds, the number of players, whether it's stroke or match play, whether it's weekly or if it's a major, or if there's people that can be exempt for it from a number of years. You can add your own tournaments, create your own, or update the tournaments that are here, or delete tournaments from the database. On the right side, you can create your tour and play that. So let's go ahead and do that. Here, you would put in your tour name. So let's just call this my tour. And then you put in your name. Let's say I'm called Joe Smith. Okay, and what country you're from. There's a long list of countries to select from, what tour you're representing, what your initial world golf rank points you want to be, and maybe you want to start off with some initial earnings already. And then you need to choose one of the tours, or more than one of the tours that you want to play with, the Champions Tour, the PGA Tour, or a group of legend golfers. Let's, for our time here, let's just pick Champions Tour. You can't pick more than one if you want to combine it. Then also if you're going to play with FedEx Cup points or not. So in this case, we want to. And whether you're going to include the major winners from the last 10 years or so that they will automatically be qualified for the major that they had won. You have initial player stroke data and WGR points and initial career earnings on how you want to set up the tour. In the player data, you can use random data or the average of the whole tour or actual player data that I gathered from PGA websites. So let's create the tour. Before you actually create it, then you can elect to choose one or more players that if you don't want them to be in your roster, you can elect to remove them just by using the control and enter to select. I'm going to keep everybody. So then it's going to build your tour and your roster. Now your tour is created. So now you, like I said, you can create more than one tour if you want. So I can create another tour, but maybe this other tour will be just with the legends, or maybe it's all three tours brought together. So you can run multiple tours at the same time. You can then delete the tour if you don't want it, or you can play the LVT Cup. So let's go ahead and play the tour for now. When you play the tour, you'll have to first initialize it and build your schedule for the season. So we need to initialize our season, and you got to select where your tour schedule is going to be chosen from, which tours of those selected tournaments that we had. Links Virtual are the ones that you created that were not included within any of the database. So we're going to build it. It takes the current year and starts you off there. You see, you get a series of tournaments that you can select from, and you just start building your schedule. So let's just say the ATT Pebble Beach Pro-Am is first, then maybe the Genesis Open, and then we have what we call alternate tournaments. These are where maybe this might be just for the top, say, 64 players in the world golf rankings, but all the others still play the same week, but they're in a alternate tournament. So you can put that in there within the same week, and it just makes sure you want to do it. You see, still week number 2, Genesis Open will be played, and then the Corrales will also be played on the same week. We also have majors, like say PGA Championship. And so we'll just make a small schedule. You would have to build it as big, as long as you want. But since we're using FedEx points, we have to also include playoff tournaments. There is a series of FedEx playoffs, but I'm just going to short it for right now and just end it with the Tour Championship. Tour Championship has to be the last tournament in the schedule when you are using FedEx Cup points. And then you can move these around if you needed to. Maybe I wanted to put the PGA Tour or the PGA Championship second, and maybe the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, the third week or something. But let's put it back up to the first. Okay, and then you save your schedule. Once you save it, you can't change it for that season. Now the season's built and the season is initialized. So we're ready to play week 1, round 1 of the ATT Pebble Beach Pro-Am. It gives you information about it and everything. You can play the tournament here. These we'll come in to talk about a little bit later, but right now we'll just play the tournament. You can set the hardness, the wind speed, the green speed at random, or force it to be a certain value. I'm just going to leave it at random. And then the tournament field is selected. Now I'm not entered to play, and you can have sponsors exemptions. It builds your selection of players that will be playing. Let's say I am going to use a sponsors exemption so you can see how you enter your scores. Okay, now we're going to set round 1 conditions. And you can do that just like you did on the earlier versions of, I think it was called GBVT, setting up the whole difficulties and the round difficulties. But I'm just going to leave everything as is for now. We're going to play round 1. And then here's where you enter your scores. You can elect to withdraw at any point during the tournament as well. So let's just go through and put a series of scores. It verifies to make sure you don't have anything invalid there. I shot 69, and we'll post my score. And the other players now in the tour that are on that week's schedule will play. When it's done, you can view round 1 or go to the leaderboard. Here's your leaderboard. Joe Smith, that's me, we'll say. What I did gives you statistics for the round. You can come back here to the specific round if you want and look at how everybody shot. So let's say we're ready to play round 2. Okay. You can also view the tournament and view the hole-by-hole leaderboard. We'll look at that in a little bit. I'll say play round 2. You can set these for the round. We'll just keep everything the same. And let's say I really had a really bad round. Whoops, not 45. Let's see what that comes out. 79. And it goes through the rest of the players and builds up their scores. And then round 2 is complete, and it'll tell you whether you missed or made the cut. And in this case, we missed the cut. And we can view the leaderboard if we want to, what's going on currently. And you'll see down here, comes down to everybody that missed the cut. And if anybody had withdrawn or was DQ'd, they would also be listed here as well. That happens at random. So let's go back to the tour screen and let's play the third round. This time it'll be just the players, not me, because I did not make the cut. And it executes and plays all the other players. for the round 3 scores. And see, we have this going on right here. So let's go on to round 4 and play the round. And let's see how it turned out. Rod Pampling won by a stroke. So we can go ahead and create a tournament record. But before we do that, let's look at something that's a really interesting feature. No, we don't want to create a tournament record at this time because we want to show you the hole-by-hole leaderboard. This is a feature that you can select a certain round and a player and follow them hole by hole in relation to all the other players. So let's take that final round and let's take round 4 and let's look at Rod Pampling because he won by a stroke. And we can track his round, how he worked out and how he ended up winning. Did he come from behind or did he hold off somebody? So let's see what happened. So we view the leaderboard. There he is. He has not played yet, but as they came in, Fred Couples and Ed said all the others had what their score was through how many holes that day and what their round 4 score was. So let's go to the next hole, and we see Rod Pampling was even on the first hole, and he's still tied with Angel Cabrera. So let's just go on and so forth, and see he was still tied, tied. Had a 2-shot lead after 6, 1 shot after 7. Still 1 shot. He was hanging in there. They were neck and neck, just those two, it looks like. And so forth. Let's go on a little bit further. He just kept 1 shot ahead through 15. Tied after 16. He was ahead by 1 after 17. And they both birdied 18, and he ended up winning by 1 shot. So let's come back here for a moment. You could also just go to the tournament. You could restart the tournament. Like say you didn't like the outcome. You could start the tournament all over if you want to. We have different reports you can look at also about player statistics and tour information. We'll go over all of this in another video. That's another feature you can use. And another feature we also have is you can update the tour settings throughout the season. You can also cancel a whole season unless you just want to start it all over again. So let's go to the tournament leaderboard and create our tournament record. Now this takes a few 30 seconds or a minute or so to run because it does a lot of calculations, updating the world golfing rankings and doing statistics, etc. So we're going to get it started here. And so you see what it looks like. And then I'm going to pause the video because it's going to take a few seconds here. So, and then we'll pick it back up. Okay, we're back. It finished. And this is what you get after it's done going through all of its updates. We'll go back to the tour screen. And now we're ready to play the PGA Championship and play our next round or our next tournament. So, but I'm going to leave it at this point. After you complete the whole season, then you'll close out the season, and it does a lot of statistical updates with world golf ranks and other information that also takes a while. So let's just exit out at this point. You can save and exit at any point in the middle of a round, and it'll keep up with where you were, and you can just pick back up where you left off. And we're going to take a quick look at the LVT Cup. You can pick your course that is going to be played on. And this comes pretty much straight from the old GBVT. I didn't change it because it was in pretty good shape. I didn't want to have to recreate everything. So it'll build your roster and build the player data first. And then when you get done, then you have to initialize. And then you can select your players for each team. You can do it randomly, or you can manually select the players you want. I'm just going to let it select a random here. And select the random here. And then you can select which players are going to play on the day 1 4-ball, on the day 1 aggregate, or you can let it select. It'll let the PC select it randomly. So we'll just let them select randomly who's going to be in match 1 and match 2, etc. And also down here. Okay, you can set your difficulty, your conditions for play. So let's come over to day 1. We have our player set for the morning matches and for 4-ball, and let's get their scores. And you as a player, if you are elected to go play the LVT Cup, you will just enter your scores here as well, like you did on a regular tour. Okay, so then you get that and you can get the rest of the scores, and it'll go through and show you who's leading, and just keep clicking until you complete the morning rounds of play of 4-ball here. In our situation here, we see that in this case 3 and 2 going to Europe. Here it's not done yet, still 1 up. 5 and 4 to Europe. 2 and 1 to Europe. I'll square 1 up and halved. And so that's what your morning points are, 3.5 to 1/2. And so then you can come back and do the bottom half and so forth and do a single. So just kind of a brief overview of the LVT Cup. So that's a quick overview of the Links Virtual Tour. It also does support match play, so we'll look at that in a different video as well. Thank you for watching, and please look at the specific videos for whichever part of the LVT Links Virtual Tour you're interested in getting more information about. Thank you very much.